Let me give you the formula for happiness. It's Dr. McLean's Vital Energy Chiropractic, and I definitely don't have all the answers by any means, but I think if you can hit these 4 things I'm going to discuss with you, they're going to have a great impact on your joy and happiness in your life. And I was just listening to this podcast yesterday of this, from their interviewing this billionaire, and he was talking about leadership, and he talked about that you can't be truly successful, or at least he defined one of the key attributes of success as happiness. When I thought about that, I thought that's really true, because you can be very wealthy but not be happy, and that's not really a good life. Or you can be very healthy, great physical health, but again, not be happy and joyful, and I don't think you're going to feel very good. You're not going to have very good success in your life. And I can tell with myself, I've been at times in my life where I had a lot of the things that I thought that I wanted, had some great financial success and some other things that were going really well in my life, and I wasn't very happy. And then I learned some of these lessons I'm going to show you right here. And then in more recent years, there's been times where I went through some really challenging times in my life that shouldn't have been joyful, but I still had joy in that process. So you can go through a very challenging time, a bankruptcy or divorce, and still be joyful in that process. It's not as easy, but you can do that. So, and this is not about being happy, just joyful and perfectly happy every single day. This is about overall, okay? So these 4 things I think will help you tremendously. So number 1 is contribution. Okay, we got to feel like we're making a difference in other people's lives, on the environment of this earth, or whatever. We got to feel like we're making a difference somehow in some way. Now that can be at your work. It can be in your family. If you're a mother or dad and feel like you're doing a good job raising your kids, teaching them lessons, that's contribution. So it can be any way that you define it, but if you feel like you're contributing, that's going to be one of the keys to happiness. Second one, I find this is a huge one. The second one is progress. We've got to see that we're making progress in our life. And that can be progress in our fitness, in our finances, again, in our relationships. Now, here's the ironic part about progress is that what goes with progress? Pain and discomfort, things that we don't typically associate with joy. But I want you to look back in your life and think about some of the highlights in your life. Maybe it was graduating high school or college, or losing weight. There's something big that you achieved in your life. And what went with that? Pain and discomfort, right? If you went through high school and high school was super easy for you, you don't have to put any effort in whatsoever. At the end, they just gave you a diploma. That's still an accomplishment. You're probably not going to be real joyful about that, because it wasn't hard work. Now, if you really struggled in high school and it was really hard for you, and then you got that diploma, that's going to be very, very joyful, right? So this is going to be defined for you, but progress is key. But understand that along with progress is going to go pain and discomfort, right? Right now, I switch my workouts up. I'm doing some heavier weights, and it's painful. There's some discomfort there. There's some concern, because what if I injure myself? But when I see the results of lifting those weights, I get joy, right? So there's going to be some pain and discomfort that's going along with that. Now, the last 2, I think, are really key as well, which is finances and your health. That I think that you really got to be truly joyful. You don't have to be rich, but you've got to have some financial stability. And I think to be able to really make a contribution, you've got to come from a place of having some financial security. And that's not just about money, but you've got to feel like you've got the time and resources to give of yourself to be able to make that contribution. And then also having health. You've got to have some level of health, because if you don't have your health, maybe you can write a check, which feels good to give money, but I feel like we need to do something. This is, again, my personal opinion. We just get much more joy when we're making that personal contribution. If we're going out there and speaking someplace, or we're donating our time, we're making a physical difference. I really think that's really truly joyful. Or even just being out in the community and helping something with their groceries or whatever. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but we've got to have the physical health and the resources to be able to do that. So there's always going to be a balance of those things. Not like everything's going to be perfect. You're going to have times where your finances are really doing well and growing, and times where they're not so good. And times where the contribution is really high, and sometimes where it's not so low because you're focused on other areas. But I think if we can look at those things overall and do a little bit of those things in our life each and every day, it's going to create happiness, and we're going to create much more successful and joyful. And that happiness and joy is going to draw more success in, more of the things that we desire, because we're operating from that state. So if you have questions on it, please let me know. And if I can give you any more tips that have helped me, again, please reach out.